set, we have Comet versus Kbot. Wouldn't approve any of my Hansel's pickup.
Yeah. Can we just change to that?
Sure. I love seeing a squeezer come out, the foil squeezer. Very, very interesting pick on the side of this Kbot wooden pickup here. And the Kensa Mini coming out on the other side with another ink brush.
And it's the baller ink brush, so that's exciting to see. Unfortunately, both the Mini and a lot of people just going down already. It seems that Comet does have the advantage in this scenario. He's going to grab that Rainmaker, but has to watch out for ice on the heavy spawn.
They really do. They need to kind of be paying attention and just making sure that they're not caught off guard with any of the flanks on this map, because there are a lot of opportunities for them to do that. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do to kind of shut down some of these pushes.
Especially with so many of these fast weapons like the ink brush and the 2 splatling and those 2 minis and a heavy splatling coming out. Those can move across those gratings extremely quick, which is extremely important on this map, especially on Rainmaker.
One of my favorite things to watch when Ice plays is the positioning that they maintain, and that was very, very good, except unfortunately Sho came around from that side and was able to take them out with that flank, and this allows Comet to push forward. Dark Pablo working to move their way on that uninkable area. Oof, that was a rough one.
Right? No, you're not getting past me this time. And does pop the Stingray. The Charger does super jump back. Now it's just gonna try and pop the Rainmaker with a Stingray. Even though a Stingray is similar to Killer Whale, it definitely does not have the same amount of Rainmaker popping power as Killer Whale did, which was a Splatoon 1 special.
I had heard of it, and I mean the Stingray is pretty scary and terrifying in and of itself, so I can't imagine what a Killer Whale would look like. Comet putting up so much pressure on this Kbot wooden pickup team, and it's just Comet is constantly just making sure that they're in a position where they can continue to push this Rainmaker forward. And now this is where we're really going to see things move. Hansel bringing it all the way up to 39, and there are still a few players alive and in the area of Rainmaker. No, unfortunately they do go down. Maybe this push can continue.
Jerry is in a good position, able to take some of the members out. Unfortunately, Hitzel jumps in and is taken out by the sniper immediately. Jerry is doing a very, very good job on this Kessa program. He does get trapped in the mist and taken out quickly.
It's a bloodbath! Everyone going down over and over again. Ice being the only one up from the pickup team. And from the side of Comet, we only had that brush at the time. So now everyone's going to sort of take a second to regroup and possibly let this Rainmaker reset. And maybe that it will feel a little bit better for this pickup team to kind of move forward again.
For sure. There's not too much time left. Only 1 minute and 30 seconds left on the clock. Will Kbot wooden pickup team be able to come back from this? Hitzel popping the missiles for the engagement. This is a great time. Will Soldier be able to go on this flank? Does have the bubbles available. Has to watch it for the bomb. Looks like they want to go left. That hammer goes down. Very good play.
Oh, 3-down situation. This is so good for the Kbot wooden team. Hitzel pulling it forward, gets the lead right next to that podium. Unfortunately goes down, but bringing it to 15 is really fantastic. And everyone else is right there. They are able to get it all the way to 6. Really, really amazing push.
That was crazy. Even getting past the Stingray. Actually, the Stingray hasn't been used yet. That's interesting. At just 40 seconds remaining. Will Comet be able to come back from this? A 6-point lead is at the very base of the pedestal.
Ace popping this Booyah. Gonna try to get it right. Oh, no.
Oh, throw.
Oh.
Uh-oh. I think that was intentional. Hopefully that was intentional.
I hope that was intentional too. It seems like it was a little bit of a backwards jump that maybe got out of hand, but it does get the Rainmaker in a good position.
They do. Comet does have to pop it. They have to watch out though, because Soldier does have bubbles, and Soldier's just gonna pop the bubbles on top of the Rainmaker, and able to clean up, help clean up 2 members in front of the Rainmaker. Looks like Kbot wouldn't. A pickup team will take game 1.
Really fantastic play by popping those bubbles, as you mentioned. Creates a really good defense where no one from Comet is able to just kind of pick it up right away.
We do have an update to tell you about across on the other semifinal. Ghost did win. They won 3-1 over Cheap Squad. So that is
Very
something
impressive.
to note. The winner will play against Ghost Gaming. I'm excited to see this next match. It'll be Tower Control on Moray Towers.
I love Moray Towers.
You're one of the really awesome.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love Moray fans. People who truly like the map, because there's not. I find it gets so much hate. I kind of understand why, because for all the people who played Splatoon 1 Emulator, it's not the same as it used to be.
I think it's changed a lot from what I had heard about Splatoon 1 to Splatoon 2. I think the biggest problem that people have with Moray is that it's not a very good Stingray map. And Stingray has been kind of the controller for the meta in terms of special weapons for every mode for a very long time. And it's been easing off in the past couple of months, but I think that people are still holding on to that feeling of, oh, I hate Moray because I can't use this, I can't use that. I have a hard time figuring out what other options there are to move throughout this. And it can be a map that just kind of gets away from you. But if you have good positioning, if you're keeping things available and not just focusing on that left side plat, which a lot of teams tend to, you can kind of take this back very quickly from the other team. So I think that that's something to be said in terms of the map. And one of the things I love as well is that when you're facing a team like Comet, because as we've mentioned, they're kind of primarily a Japanese team with some other international players, they might have a very different opinion on this map than everyone else from the NA and EU scene. So maybe we'll see something that we're not expecting to see.
For sure, anything seems almost viable on Moray sometimes. It's a map that really, when it comes down to it, the team that is the most coordinated and the most skilled often wins it, especially on tower control, because due to that massive 20-second checkpoint.
So we have an ink brush coming out again from the side of Comet. I love seeing this, and it makes me really, really happy to see Dark Pablo playing this. And they're going to kind of take their time, shark around, see what kind of picks they can get. Beautiful pick on ice right there. And they're going for another. They get the one on Kiri, and that is a full wipe for the Kbot pickup team. Kbot wouldn't team.
Show and, I hope I was saying that right, Show and Dark Pablo are going to be pushing up quite hard. Just leaving the Charger just chilling back on tower. That's the real MVP right there. They're off getting all those kills up there and dying, but this is a real MVP. I don't know. This is not looking good for Kbot Wooden. They do pop the missiles on the tower. Are not able to clean anybody up with those, but are able to stop the tower. It's looking really bad.
This is kind of exactly what chat had mentioned, that it gets very snowbally and can be very difficult to kind of come back from. But, you know, maybe it was just a matter of whoever was able to get that first tower push could kind of move forward. And, you know, having one game, hopefully it doesn't sort of take too much of the momentum from the Kbot Wooden pickup team as they kind of continue to move forward and see how they do in the rest of this.
There wasn't all that much of anything from Kbot Wooden. They had a very strong showing in the first game. Just gotta brush that game off and turn this series is now a best of 5. Going to Starfish main stage on Splat Zones. Starfish main stage on Splat Zones, of all them, when Starfish underwent some renovations many months ago now. Main stage on the zones didn't feel too different than it already did. It was a mode that was changed, in my opinion, the least.
I agree with you. I think that in terms of the changes, it was changed the least out of the others. I think it's also kind of become one of the more balanced Splat Zones maps
Yeah,
because
there's
yeah, it's just very straightforward, right to the zone. You have a
got
lot
the
of opportunity
flanks.
to paint, right the flanks. I completely agree.
It's just the mid zone. There's some high ground, some areas where you can stick back a little bit, some lower areas, but the zone is just a little bit elevated, which also can cause some nice defense to hold in front of the zone. It promotes like, hey, I want to make sure I have the high ground due to in Splatoon with the fall, like how the ink pellets fall and stuff. You always kind of want to have high grounds. Always seems to be nicer, especially in Splatoon. So it promotes holding in front of the zone. If
And
you're a younger team, this is definitely a map that is good to help map mode combination that's helpful to show how to really understand the mechanics of the game quite quickly.
I absolutely agree with you. I think that it's a great one to be able to see how you can kind of play Splat Zones in one of the most straightforward opportunities. Um, if the teams are evenly matched, which I think we've kind of seen that they are, with the exception of that Moray game, very evenly matched so far.
Bubbles coming out. That's something you don't see as much. We've seen quite a fair amount of bubbles today. They're definitely not as good as they were. Dark Bubble already going in a little bit too too aggressive there. Soldier puts an end to that.
I think having the ink brush on this mode is maybe the one that I would question the most because it certainly can kind of move about and is going to give you a lot of leverage in terms of going throughout the map. But I don't know. Oh man, I thought Soldier was going to get away from that
I
bomb.
thought he was too. Oh my, that was nice.
That was pretty amazing right there. Inumaru popping this Stingray, gonna try to help the rest of the team take zone, and they are able to do so as they begin their first push here. But they have to stay alive, and they trade. The trade is better than just, unfortunately, going down, but it's not gonna help the rest of the team that Kbot wouldn't pick up is able to take back that zone.
Yes, this is definitely a stronger showing than Moray for Kbot Wooden. Definitely looking good. That Expo is putting in a lot of work to just hold the enemy team back. Comet's looking to get in. They do have a Baller, Stingray, and Armor, and that is able to take the zone for them. And that's just Soldier. Show is trying to find the Soldier, but Soldier's quite far back. They're probably already on.
They really are, and Dark Pablo working their way into this base to try to get a couple of picks. Does get one, but is taken out by that Forge, so that's going to be a little challenging for them because now Comet needs to back up a little tiny bit as Ace is returning to mid, and they're just going to try and hang on to this zone as much as they can. They only have 3 points to go, and they are able to take the lead. Very nice job right there.
Inumaru with a huge play against Ice. Able to take Ice down with just some tap shots. Has to watch out for this Explo though. Soldier on the Explo is trying to paint the zone. Comet is looking strong to hold the zone in, especially with the Stingray coming out from Inumaru.
Comet gets one pick right there, which is going to be very good. And now those missiles coming out, they didn't fall into zone, which is what I think the Kbot Wooden team was looking for. And no, just not enough time to paint fast enough. And that is going to be the third game and the third game of the set, the second one going to Comet.
Yeah. Kbot Wooden, the pickup team, had a very strong beginning, but once Comet got set up, it was very hard for Kbot Wooden's team to get back in. It's a very strong, very strong showing. It was a much more balanced map than the Moray game. We'll be moving over to Kbot Sturgeon.
Go ahead.
The Tenebrel's coming back?
I hope so. I hope to see this Tenebrella Ink Brush combo come back because it was so strong before. This is a similar kind of feel to the anchovy map in terms of your levels, because you do have these kind of multiple levels, especially when you're dealing with the pit and the bridge in the middle. So it could work pretty well for them. I just can't wait to see what they're gonna do here and what kind of answers the Kbot wouldn't pickup team has for Comet.
We have to remember that this is a game point for Comet. So they win this, they play Ghost. So Kbot wouldn't have to come out with play like this is their last game. Do you think this is going to go to a game 5, or do you think Comet's going to just be like pull the same thing they did on Anchovy and just kind of jump in with a lot of power clams?
I don't know. I really can't anticipate. I don't know. I can't I can't tell you what's going to happen because I want to see a game 5 because we haven't gotten to a game 5 today. But Comet has shown so strong within Clamblitz, so the Kbot wouldn't pick up really needs an answer if they're going to be able to do it. And maybe this double splatling will be it?
Maybe. There we go, the Tenebrola and the brush coming out from Comet. Will this be it? Will Luma finally... Dark Bubble going down. Huh?
Oh man, I think that this is kind of what they have anticipated on the Kbot pickup, that they've said, hey, we gotta watch out for that brush player. Maybe they weren't quite looking out for Ace, but they are able to take him down. Great job right there. You know,
so close to those bubbles as well.
Absolutely. The bubbles would have been a huge help too, to help kind of guard from the top, but Comet then able to clean everything up and take out most of the members of the Kbot wouldn't pickup team. Dark Pablo waiting for an opportunity to shark in and get as close as possible to that basket, just trying to make sure that they're not found out by the enemy team, doing what they can to help their teammates build some power clams here.
Comet has one power clam available and is going to jump in with it. Will they be able to hit it? They are able to hit the power clam. Those bubbles coming in from Soldier, though, able to clean almost everybody up.
Really nice defensive play.
Yes, this is what. I'm forgetting the team name already. I was gonna go for the whole team name, but
Kbot wouldn't.
I wanted to think of the whole team name, but it's too long.
Kbot wouldn't accept any of my ideas, so this is our team name. They just got 2 power clams into the basket.
Boom.
Beautiful, beautiful 60 points right there. Gonna give them a nice lead on the board so far. Looks like Hitzel's going for an opportunity to try to get a few more. Decides to back off as the barrier closes. And, you know, Comet now has this... Oh, Soldier staying alive. Still staying there.
Gets the kill on Dark Pablo, though, which is very, very good. That will slow down that push a lot. They don't have to work with the brush just automatically going into their base. And unfortunately, a DC coming out from Comet. The Charger is gone. The match will continue, though.
That DC is going to be heartbreaking for Comet. I'm not quite sure of the DC rules, but because we were at least when the DC happened, I believe we were at 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I'm not totally sure. Usually if there's a DC within a certain amount of time, it is a replay, but I don't quite know about this. And, you know, we'll see what the TOs have to say in terms of that.
Then that's all of their range from Comet. That's really hard. I do still have faith in them, due to the fact that they have a Tenebrola and a brush. They have to keep Kbot wouldn't into their base, close to their basket, but they're struggling to even get out of their own basket, just due to the fact they don't have too much range.
I agree with you. It's going to be really tough for them to do this, but I do think they can if they kind of continue to work together, and we'll see what, you know, they're able to do.
Show just threw clam to Hitzel. I don't think that was on purpose. Instead of throwing a torpedo, just decided, here's a clam.
All right, so confirmation from the TOs there. No replays unless both teams agree here. Play just continues. But if there's any mode that a 3v4 can win in, it certainly is Clam Blitz. So don't count Comet out just yet. It seems as though maybe they got a little flustered when the DC first happened, but they have pulled themselves back together and they're working to try to get another push going here.
I do have to say, Clam Blitz is just a little bit, and I'm going to be a little biased here, it's probably one of the hardest maps, the hardest modes to get back in, due to the fact that you have one less player, so at most you can get only 3 power claims in instead of 4. It's a lot, the amount of points that you can get, it's a lot less.
It is a lot less in terms of points, but it becomes so chaotic that's going on the map that it can sometimes make it so you're not quite paying attention what's happening on the other side. So it can get you those sneaky plays in, where then if you get a couple of key picks, it can just snowball from there. But obviously the Kbot Wouldn't team is able to kind of clean this up and end that game very quickly after that DC, tying up our set 2-2. So we get to go to a game 5.
Yeah, Hitzel with a lot of missiles. He keeps just pumping those things out. Doesn't really the nerf, maybe 1 or 2 missiles less per game, but the little nerf to the mini doesn't seem to be affecting Hitzel all that much. We'll be hopping over to Tower Control and Walleye Warehouse. This is a map that can just keep rolling if you're not careful. We can see, and I wouldn't be shocked if we see another Moray scenario, but this time I'm not surprised if it'll be on either side.
That's kind of what I'm wondering here too. I think that Walleye can get snowbally, as you had mentioned, and we certainly can be anticipating that, but I think it's also one of the maps that if you're able to kind of get out of your base after you're locked in, you have a much stronger chance of kind of running it back against your opponents. So we'll see what they're able to do here. And I'm assuming we're going to see that brush again, because we've seen the ink brush come out from Dark Pablo every time, and I would love to see it again. They have a Charger player who has played Charger each time, so that's going to be great. In terms on the side of the Kbot Wouldn't pick up, we've seen Squeezer come out. Do you think we're going to see a Squeezer, possibly a double Stingray from them?
Double Stingray and then Hitzel with missiles? Definitely something that could definitely be coming out. I wouldn't be shocked by it, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they didn't run it.
I think Walleye is the only map that would be kind of the play for me here, is because it's so narrow that having those can really shut any sort of movement down, can kind of clean up anyone who might be around the tower when that first Stingray goes and hovers directly on it. So I think
the other thing is
either way
is that you don't have, is if you have 2 Stingrays, you might not get both Stingrays up as much as you per se might have one. Due to the fact that there isn't a whole lot of paint on your side of the map. It's a very diamond-shaped map, where it's kind of narrow in your base and wide in the middle area. So if you're holding mid, you don't really get, if you have 2 Stingrays, they might be fighting for turf.
Very good point. I've actually never thought of it like that, but you're absolutely right. It is very kind of diamond-shaped in terms of how much ink you can do at once. So we'll see what they're able to do here. I couldn't quite tell. No, so is the foil Squeezer. Yeah. So they are running 1 Stingray. When you're looking at it in that first preview shot, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. If there was a 3rd Squeezer, then 3rd Squeezer is probably going to be something crazy, like Sheldon. And then you could be able to tell if that's different. It's already, oh my goodness! This is not looking, Dark Pablo comes out already, cleaning up for some goods. Remember, it's going down from Kbot Wouldn't. That's the 4th.
Yeah, this is looking very similar to that Moray game so far. Kbot Wouldn't having a tough time getting out of their base and able to kind of really push back against Comet and what they're doing so far. Comet having pushed the tower all the way to 65, getting through that first checkpoint, but not for long.
Ice has got to watch out getting chased by Dark Pablo and Inkbrush and pop the blower. He is able to take Dark Pablo out. Has to watch out for that 52 gal. Is able to stay clear of that. And not stay clear of the
Sometimes that's all that you need is one really well-placed shot from a assisting weapon to kind of get that final little bit of ink onto your teammate here. But it seems as though Kbot Wooden is making their first push, getting to that first checkpoint now. They just need to hold it, and their Stingray comes out from the side of Comet with that Booyah coming on from Kbot Wooden, and it doesn't quite do enough to lock away that Stingray, but the Stingray in reverse and the Booyah in reverse, not quite sure.
I don't know, it's a messy fight. And just a charger from Comet left. Ice is pushing way up. I like this aggressive positioning, but they have to. Kbot wouldn't have to start pushing the tower if they want to win this game.
They really are.
This is this is looking good. This is very looks like the push is ending for Kbot Wooden. Ice does pop the Stingray, and now Hitzel's just riding his tower, trying to get through this checkpoint, which they've had so much trouble with. It does ditch the tower. If he would have stayed on it, he probably would have had the checkpoint a little quicker.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking that if he had just kind of stayed on, they would have had lead much faster, but I think his teammate was saying that he needed help, so Hitzel decided to back up. Oh, I thought Pablo was missing that bomb. Unfortunately, does go down, and the bubbles coming out from Soldier 2 are going to help this checkpoint, but they have to back off just a bit as that Stingray does come back, and I wonder if Ice is going to be able to make it out. No, unfortunately not.
Nope. She'll come out. Clutch was able to hold that tower down in combination with the Stingray, able to make sure that that checkpoint stays up, meaning that Kbot Wooden team has to go through that checkpoint and all again if they want to get more of a lead. With GC Dark Pablo pushing quite heavily into their base, this lead is looking not so good for Kbot Wooden. Just Hitzel alive. He has to clear out the tower. Has to watch out for the Booyah bomb. Booyah bomb. Booyah bomb. Ace is able to stay alive just for a little bit until bomb cleans him up from Soldier. Soldier getting this jumping up. He is able to clean up some of these jumps. 4 jumps coming into Comet. And that looks like the end of the push.
Really nice play from Kbot Wooden right there. Really doing everything they can to kind of be on top of it, you know, going down, jumping in just before they died, and just using everything they had to make sure that Comet wasn't able to push that tower into the lead there, because it's not a lot of point difference between 39 and 47 when you're talking tower control.
No, but there is one thing that is standing that makes that 47-39 look a little bit bigger, and that's an 8-second checkpoint.
Checkpoint that they will have to contend with again, and they still have 4 seconds on it there. Hitzel is able to get back on, unfortunately trades on the tower, and this is going to be the continuation of that checkpoint from... Nice shot.
They have to watch out. Dark Pablo coming in from the side. Can Dark Pablo clean this up? It is able to take down Ice, but not able to clean up any more of the bomb puts an end to. Soldier's coming in. Soldier does have bubbles, is not able to pop them off. Ace is able to clean up the fight.
Very nice job there. This certainly is. Comet just needs a few more to take this lead. They do have control of tower right now, but with 3 down, not enough people to get on that tower. That makes Kbot wouldn't accept any of my ideas, so this is our name. I think that's what the whole thing is. Going to Grand Finals.
Yeah, that's